Hello, everyone, and welcome to What's Buzzing in Breck, the podcast that buzzes with everything Breckinridge County. Today, we are here with Melanie Beachy, an owner of Beachy Dogs in Hardinsburg, Kentucky. Hello, Melanie.
Hi, how are you doing today?
We're doing good. To kick things off, can you tell us a little bit of what you do at Beachy Dogs?
Well, we are a dog grooming, dog daycare, boarding, and training facility.
Interesting. So, what made you all choose Breckinridge County to run your business in?
Well, Brian and I moved here in 2020 when he received orders from the Army to Fort Knox, and we purchased a home in Breckinridge County. We soon saw the need for a quality daycare and boarding facility that you could really, the community could really trust. And and so we went into business, and we wanted to place our business where we live and see our community grow. And so that's why we chose Breckinridge County.
Yeah, I'd never heard of like a dog training business near here. Do you know who your closest competitor is?
I do. So the dog service industry as a whole is very unregulated. So there are a lot of people that just kind of, train dogs on the side. As far as businesses go, they're in the surrounding area. When I did my market research, we looked at we have about 2 or 3 near town, and then Hardinsburg, and then further out into E-Town and Owensboro, there are more facilities.
Interesting. So what is it like to work with such a wide variety of dogs?
Well, you get to see all the different personalities. Just like humans have individual personalities, so do dogs. And so, for example, Tony here, he is super sweet and fun-loving. He is obedient, but he also loves to have fun and get out there with the other dogs in daycare. And so some of them are just goofy and fun, and some of them are more reserved, and they don't like to play with other dogs, and they just kind of hang out on their own. We have a Belgian Malinois that will get everybody riled up and worked up, and then she sits down and is very aloof and lets the other dogs play. So it's neat to just see all the different personalities.
Yeah, and I bet it's cute too. I would love working with a bunch of dogs.
Yes, they always love you back.
Yeah. Is there any challenges that come with working with dogs?
Sometimes. So not everybody understands the need for dog training, and it doesn't always have to be organized training. You can read about how to train a dog, and they can learn by the structure in your household. But the larger the breed, the more critical it is to get them trained, because dogs will jump. Quite honestly, an 80-pound puppy, and there are many 80-pound puppies out there, doesn't know better and could jump on a 2-year-old and knock them down. They could be hurt, or jump on an elderly person and that person fall and get hurt. So it's really important for people to understand the need for training, socialization. You lose the window to socialize a dog around 16 weeks. That's only 4 months old. So we are trying to educate people through our business to, when you get a puppy, socialize them. Throughout their life, continue supporting that socialization so that they don't become reactive towards people or towards other dogs. And so that would probably be one of the biggest challenges that we see out there. And then another would be sometimes because the dog service industry is so unregulated, sometimes people are afraid to trust a place to watch their dog and take care of their dog. So they tend to keep their dog in this little bubble, and then emergencies happen and they have to take a trip, or they get to go on some fun vacation and they need to board their dog. Well, if their dog has been kept in that little bubble, they're very frightened when they first get there. But we do feed all the needs of the dogs, whether it's through enrichment activities, of course, food, exercise, clean space, attention. They typically will settle in and understand the structure and the routine.
Yeah, I can imagine there has to be like a lot of trust between business and customer, especially since you're taking care of a customer's dog.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So what does the application process look for a customer who wants to board their dog?
Well, when we want all dogs to come and meet us before they stay at Beachy Dogs for the first time. But if they are over 25 pounds, we have a requirement that we need to make sure that that dog is going to like us and not want to eat us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what they do is they just sign up on our website for a customer account, or they can call us and we will create the account with them over the phone. We're really all about customer service, and that helps build that trust that you're talking about.
That's good. Is there any specific way you find is like more beneficial to market your business? Like, what's the most effective marketing strategy you found to use?
Sure. So social media has been our biggest avenue for marketing. However, I will say word of mouth has been very powerful. We have 5-star reviews, and we have some recommendations on Facebook. And then also we go out to the community through vendor events, and we will, while we have some retail items there to sell, that's not the purpose. The purpose is to meet people and let them see us, let them see Tony, so they can understand that, how we are with our own dog, understand the training process and ask questions. So building that community relationship really helps build the trust and also build the brand awareness.
Yeah. So what kind of people mainly board their dogs? Is there any, like, do you work with the police?
I don't work with the police directly.
No.
I'm sure I've had, I have had folks that that are with law enforcement that have boarded their dogs with us or come to us for training.
Mm-hmm.
But the type of person that boards their dog. So for one, there's daycare. So daycare it helps the dogs get acclimated. They become like an extra member of our pack, to be honest with you. So, the dogs that come every week to us, their owners are really just dedicated to make sure that they experience different dogs, different people, different experiences to help that socialization process. And then when those dogs are ready to board, let's say their owner has a business trip or a vacation, it's no big deal to that dog. It's like a sleepover, like kids have sleepovers. So they're happy to be there. It's no stress on them. Then there's also the people that, they don't board their dogs typically, but they're going on a trip. And so they'll bring their dogs to daycare and get them kind of acclimated to the setting. And so typically our customer is that person that just, their dog is a member of the family. It's not a dog that they leave chained up in the yard. They really are concerned with and focus on the care of their animal, whether it's training, whether it's their diet, whether it's grooming, boarding. So they're just really focused on the care of that dog.
Yeah, that's good. Do you have any employees?
We started out with quite a few employees, actually, because I was still working my career with the Army as a civil servant, and Brian was in the Army. Folks went off to school. I ended up quitting my career and working the business full time. So to cut back on labor, Brian and I are the employees mostly.
Mm-hmm.
We do have one active employee, and of course the folks that went off to school worked with us before. They're always welcome back. We're a small business, so you have to cut corners where you can while you're growing, and so that's how we did so.
Yeah. So do you have any advice that you would give to someone that was like looking to start their own business?
Absolutely. So when I taught military to civilian transition classes for service members, I would tell them, if you're going to go the route of entrepreneurship, then you need to make sure you are your hardest working employee. And so Brian and I are our hardest working employees. There's also, though, with all that hard work, we work 12 to 14 hours a day right now, and we don't have days off at the current moment. It is easier to work for an employer. But when you work for yourself and you are building a company, you have creative freedom to make it what you want. So we took something that was an idea, we've created this business together, and then now we're seeing success with it and growth with it. So an expansion, and that is super exciting. So it makes all the work worth it.
Yeah, it's like you see all your hard work put into like an actual thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you think, who was your biggest helper whenever you were starting your business?
Well, there's quite a few folks that helped us. So in the original planning phase, we reached out to Small Business Administration, and we received free resources with a score.org. Are you familiar with score.org?
I don't think so.
So it's Brian helped me with this.
Service score of a retired executive.
Yes. And so we had a retired executive that walked us through the process. We already had a business plan, but she helped us fine-tune that. And where I had my head in the clouds and might have taken out a loan that was too big, she helped us, get my feet back on the ground. And where Brian was trying to do the same thing, but for some reason I listened to her a little bit better. So we received a lot of help through them, and then she linked us with Community Ventures. But I will tell you, after we got through all of that and we had our loan and we were moving forward, this community is amazing. So the help with Breckinridge Economic Development and Breckinridge Chamber of Commerce, the help there, I'll tell you, to tell you what it felt like. I miss Hawaii very much, and there you have this feeling of ohana, and I missed that for several years, 3 years, when we moved here. And I would pray about it, and I just wanted God to, I need this feeling of ohana again. And when we were opening this business, we had that help, and and our church family as well too. Just the support there as we were considering it and getting all the planning through. That was amazing.
Yeah, I think Breckinridge County is a great place for small businesses.
Absolutely.
I think there's a lot of help that is offered.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So did you have to get any certain licensing to work with dogs?
So that's the unfortunate thing. It's not required. Mm. Anybody can open shop. They can be a kennel business. They can be a dog groomer. They can be a training facility. We really value education, and we want to bring a quality product and service to our community. Without certifications and furthering education in that trade you are moving towards, when you're dealing with live animals, it could hurt them emotionally if they're not trained properly. It could quite honestly ruin their demeanor. Dogs that, for example, an Australian Shepherd should never be shaved. It hinders their ability to self-regulate their temperature.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So those types of things are what you learn with the education process. So I do have a bachelor's degree in business. For 17 years, I worked for the military as a civil servant, either military transitions or resiliency. So I have a lot of specialized training in that. But when we decided, or we were even contemplating opening a business, in fact, we were actually thinking of buying a business first, and then we went, let's just make it our own. I got my certification through Animal Behavior College for positive dog training, because I did not want to, it's the Lima principle, is what they follow, least intrusive, minimally aversive. So we don't use shock collars, prong collars, underground fences, anything like that, because that can actually hurt a dog. And then when we decided to expand, we also, I went through Animal Behavior College and got my grooming certification, and I just recently got my AKC Canine Good Citizen Evaluator. So I used to partner with other businesses, so that evaluator would come in. Now we can offer that without bringing in a third party.
Where'd you go to college at?
I went to DeVry University and Oregon Institute of Technology.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it must be pretty interesting to work with dogs since they're just like so like not crazy, but like they're unpredictable.
Sometimes they are crazy.
Sometimes. And they're cute. So do you have any like funny stories or interesting stories that you have?
We do. Okay, so we we have all sorts of fun moments, but we have one dog. His name is Rufus, and he comes quite regularly. And it'll be time to go, into the indoor park or out to the outdoor park, and he won't go anywhere. But if you take the lead and you just place it on his back, then he acts like he's on a leash, and he'll go wherever you were trying to get him to go.
Aww.
And then then also when his parents come to pick him up, and this actually happens with quite a few dogs, he'll run back to the kennels, or he'll try to run back out to his friends because he doesn't want to go home. But yeah, they do all kinds of funny and quirky things, and you put a pool out and they'll potty in it instead of playing in it. It's all fun. So yeah, and it's just heartwarming to see them play together and to see their communication style. They communicate through body language. So that's why you see a lot of, I've been giving Tony some cues. Some he's listened to, some he has not, but they've been hand signals. And they actually understand hand signals better than they do words.
Can you tell us anything about Tony, the dog that you brought today? I don't know if the cameras can pick him up. They might be a little too high.
Do you want me to make him stand up? Yeah, Tony has an interesting story. So not to make anything sad, we lost our Clifford in January. He's the face of our website. He is the face of our trifold brochure. Anyhow, part of our charity work, we go to the pound or the shelter, and we will bring dogs back, give them a day of enrichment, and adoptable, if nothing else, make them feel better for a day. And Tony was one of those dogs. So we were so brokenhearted. This was February, just a month after we lost Clifford, and I was giving him a bath and crying my eyes out, and he was licking my face, and we both knew. First of all, by the way, Tony just walked into the place like he owned this. He was home, and so that's how he came to be a Beachy dog. And in fact, we could not agree on a name. I wanted to name him Mikey, and Brian wanted to name him Tony, like Tony the Tiger. And so we put a poll out on Facebook to all our followers and had them choose the name. So I lost, and he's Tony the Tiger, and then it has become Tony the Bologna and Tony the Pepperoni, and so he has all kinds of nicknames. But the cute little tie in there that Clifford, I used to call him from the yard, and if he wouldn't come because he's playing, I could say, Clifford, you want a pepperoni? And he'd come running. So it was almost like a little heartwarming sign that we got the right dog.
Yeah, he's a really sweet boy. He's
Thank
really
you.
cool. So is he a therapy dog? I see
He is a therapy dog. So the difference between service, therapy, and emotional support, service, they actually conduct a service, like for somebody who is they're blind. That sight dog would play the eyes of play the role of their eyes and lead them. A therapy dog brings joy and comfort. So their training is not quite as sharp, or not as sharp as a service dog. A service dog is taught to ignore people. A therapy dog is there for people. You always want to ask, though. And an unfortunate thing in our in the world is that people will put vests on dogs that say service or emotion or therapy, yet that dog will go and bite another dog. It takes 200 hours of training to train a service dog. And then emotional support animals, you don't know if they're trained or not. A mental health professional would write a letter that that's a support animal. With therapy and with emotional support, you're not protected under American with Disabilities Act. So I asked permission to bring Tony But I could go to a restaurant, ask permission, they could let me in, or they could tell me no.
Mm-hmm.
Service dog, if it's a public facility, that service dog has to be let in under the American Disabilities.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't know that there was like a difference between the three.
Mm-hmm.
I always just kind of like used them interchangeably. And do you think a lot of people like aren't educated on that?
That would be correct.
Yeah.
That would be correct.
I wouldn't assume so, because I didn't even like know there was 3 different ones.
Mm-hmm. And the unfortunate thing is when it's done fraudulently, and that dog bites a service dog, that service dog usually cannot perform their duties anymore.
Oh.
And so all that training is gone. And then the person who needed that support doesn't have it either. So it's really important for us to let the public know and educate people, so that way it protects the dog, so that way it protects people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything different that you wish you would have done in your business growth journey?
I wish we would have started dog grooming first. Or not dog grooming first, but with the opening of our facility.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Do you think that would have made it like easier?
Nope.
No?
Nothing's about making it easier. It's all a lot of work. And that, might have made it more difficult. And, I think it all happened the way it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had a magic wand and could change something, that would be the one thing I would change.
Okay. Do you have any specific goals for your business in the future?
Yes, we part of education. I would like to get Beachy Dogs to where we need it to be, so then we can collaborate with education and create internships. And I also want to, we want to expand our grooming portion to create a salon and make that large enough so we can have education in there. So while there's friendly competition with other grooming salons, I would love to be able to offer training seminars and invite all the different salons from the surrounding areas and from our community. So that way we're bringing in expert help, and then we bring a better product to the community as a whole. Because no one grooming salon, no one boarding facility can service every animal out there. So I think if we all drive up our education and our awareness to what makes things work better for the dogs, then we can't go wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I think education is like super important whenever it comes to dogs, because so many people I feel like do stuff wrong whenever they're taking care of dogs. Is there anything else you think is like a misconception about dogs, or you would want like the viewers to know about dogs?
Well, they all have that individual personality, and they all need structure. A lot of people don't realize that they do need structure, and that training. And like I said, it's not like everybody has to run to get to my training classes or sessions, but to instill some sort of structure and positive. So, for example, if a dog is placed on in a underground fence, shock collar of any sort, bark collar, that beep that makes them stop barking or makes them not leave the yard, it's because they know there's a shock coming. So then when that dog is just sitting down doing nothing in the house and they hear the microwave beeping, they think they're going to get shocked. So then it undermines all the training they might have put into their dog to teach their dog to place and settle down the way Tony is right now.
I did not know that. That's sad though.
Yeah, and it's just it's the history of dog training. That's how they started dog training is through dominance theories and things like that. So, but through education and awareness, we can teach how to properly train a dog. So when a dog receives a treat or reward, it might be a toy, it might be praise, there's a drop of dopamine in the brain that they feel better. So they feel good about what they're doing, so they want to perform it more. So Tony will do anything for food.
Yeah, I think most dogs will. I know my dog definitely will.
Yeah, some of them are not food driven though, and that's where a treat or praise comes in handy. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So. But yeah, did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you always know that you wanted to start a dog training business?
No, I did not.
Mm.
So I wanted to get to GS 13 in the civil service, and I really enjoyed the resiliency building skills. I taught classes, life skills classes on stress and anger management, relationship building. I did a lot of awareness campaigns for things like suicide prevention and domestic violence awareness, and I thought that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And it's all a little bit of a blur. When we left Hawaii, the civil service does not transfer you the same way. Like my husband, he had a transfer and he was still active duty, so I kind of had to. I had to apply all over again, and it was scary because I had at the time it was 14 years career and I left Hawaii where I had a lot of business roots there and support. So coming here, it was just really challenging at first, and oddly enough, I got a job as a social media marketer for USAREC, which I was for their recruitment, and all those skills I learned in that 2 years crammed in, a lot of skills I'm actually using now for our business. So it all worked out and unfolded the way it was supposed to.
Yeah. So what specifically made you want to work with dogs?
We have such a passion for dogs. We love our own. We have 4 of them. Mm-hmm. And I guess part of it's probably empty nesting because the kids all grew up and went out on their own, and we ended up with a bunch of puppies. So, and we wanted to see them cared for, and we did put them in daycare every day, and it just was not a good situation. We didn't realize it. So then we realized there was a need for quality boarding, daycare facility that the people could trust. And so dogs come to us. Yes, they sit in the kennel sometimes, but the kennels are like little rooms. Everything we did, because I went through the dog training first, and so that we could plan it around their safety and thriving. So for example, we have it solid on the bottom so they don't have to stare at another dog. That's very stressful in the boarding facility, in the boarding situation, but we also want it open. So at the top, it's welded steel. So things like that, how you map out your business is important, because dogs being paraded through an aisle of other dogs barking at them can actually create reactivity. So that's where the dog training, I mean, really I wasn't planning on being a dog trainer. I wanted to understand the behaviors of dogs. And so that's how we planned the whole business around it. And then come to find out, when I get into dog grooming, the dog training skills are so needed. But I can tell you, there's a lot of folks out there grooming that have not had dog training, and don't know all the body language.
Yeah, and I think that can definitely create like a dangerous environment, sort of, or like, you know, the dog can get nervous if you don't know how to like treat them right.
Absolutely, because all of that is nerve-wracking. Even just not being in their home and coming to daycare for the first time can be a little scary for them.
Yeah. What year was Beachy Dogs founded? I feel like I didn't hear about it until like last year.
We started training in 2022, and then April 2023. I almost said 2029. Ahead of myself. April 2023, we opened our doors for boarding, and then in March we opened for grooming.
Okay, so you all are still pretty new.
We are still pretty new. We're a year and a half into, I would say a year and a half into business, because when I was doing the training, it was just off-site classes here and there, wherever I could get a training site. And again, I wasn't planning on being a dog trainer, but I like it. I like the interaction with the dogs, and I find that it's helpful to other people to learn how to communicate with their dogs. They just don't understand our words. They actually tune out 99% of what we say.
Oh.
Because it doesn't you can tell he doesn't care about my words right now. He cares about getting a treat. Yes, you do.
So do you think that dogs can like understand their name?
Yes. They do learn words, and so he understands. Like I don't stand. Yes. So in combination with the hand signals, it becomes more powerful.
Yeah.
Look at me. See, look at me. He does it, and this is really strong.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, they can understand words. They do they understand their name. That means to check in with you, basically. They also, like the German cue for sit is sits,
Mm-hmm.
and English is sit. So those sound very similar, and they've done MRIs with dogs to look at their brain activity when they hear words, and
I think he wants a hug.
Sit. Yes. They understand words, but if the words sound similar, they don't notice the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So if let's say I wanted to change Tony's name, so what rhymes with Tony?
Macaroni.
Okay, so
That's a little longer,
that's
though.
a little bit. So Roni, though, I could call him
Roni.
Roni, and he wouldn't notice the difference.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So that's it has to be very different.
Mm-hmm.
They communicate via pheromones. They communicate through body language. They can tell you a lot about their body, about how they're feeling with their body language. If his hair was all raised up here, if he was standing tall, that is a sign that he's nervous. He's very relaxed, and he knows to check in with me. We have a bond. Same thing with my husband. They have a bond, and so you can see that he's very relaxed. But it just dogs tell you a lot if you just look at them and pay attention to what they're telling you.
Yeah. Well, he's such a good boy. I'm glad he got to come.
Thank you. I'm sorry he climbed up.
No.
That was not.
He just wanted a hug. No, I love dogs.
That was
It's
not
okay.
obedience. He really likes you.
Well, this has been a really fun podcast and super enlightening, and we'd love to have you here, but we're running a little bit out of time.
Okay.
But you've been a joy to have on our show.
Well, thank you. It's been wonderful to be here, and we appreciate y'all's hospitality in letting Tony come with us today.
Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for watching What's Buzzing in Breck. We'll see you in the next episode.